To do the intro this week.
I did it last week.
I don't remember time. Hi there. I didn't see you.
Hello. My name is Zack and this is Dylan, and we are Some Nobodies, as you can see on our awesome whiteboard, which we have every single week. Some Nobodies, that's our name. And this show is called Talking Upstream. And what we do in this show is Dylan and I try to talk ourselves up to a streaming service. Mm-hmm. And the way we do that is we come to a table with two very weird or unique or sometimes clever, I guess.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And we try to show people a way that we work our ideas down to a pitchable product, whether it's a movie, a cartoon, comic book, board game.
Something.
Yeah.
We haven't done a board game on the air yet.
Not yet.
It's not, having kind of done that, it's not interesting conversation.
It's lengthy.
Yeah.
And plus, it's hard to show that.
Yeah.
But that's cool. We got a great guest today. We have Miss Lala. So before we bring her on, let's just quickly
run through the script.
Chat.
How are you, Zach?
Dude, this is a script?
I don't know. I didn't write anything down.
Is that what you have on your
No,
I'm
watching us.
I'm doing great, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm great.
Good.
Yeah.
You have a good holiday?
Great holiday.
I guess.
Looking forward to the next
Looking
holiday.
forward to the next one?
Yeah, I'm not really sure when this is going to air. So there was a holiday recently, and there's going to be a holiday very soon. So we're excited about both of them.
Whatever holiday you're enjoying, I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But that's enough chit-chat. Anyway, let's get to somebody more important.
So this week, our guest for our little interview session, this is Lala Luzious, the snack of the Twin Cities, if you would bring her on.
Hi, Talking Upstream.
Hello, Lala. How are you?
I am doing good. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here.
Yeah, glad to have you on.
Yeah, this is great. This is actually we've actually talked to you before. We have another show, podcast, where we reach out to underheard or underappreciated podcasts, and we kind of came across yours, and that's how we met you. So do you want to quickly just chat about what your show's called?
Yes. So my show is called Snacksize Podcast, and it explores what it means to live a happy and fulfilled life through the eyes of a drag queen. So I get to talk about my life and my performing, and then I invite other people who are distinguished in their field to talk about what makes them fulfilled in their careers, in their life, and how they found happiness.
Oh, that's great. And I think the cool, not the coolest part, but one of the interesting parts about your show is that it's like in 10-minute little snack size, if you will, a segment. So like they're easy as you're going for a walk or taking a quick drive somewhere. So I love the time frame that your show goes in, because our show usually ends up between like 30 minutes, an hour. This one is 90 minutes. So it's cool. But it's interesting that you can fit so much of important content into just 10 minutes. Do you have like a hard time stopping yourself?
Well, it's definitely a challenge. So my solo episodes I do pre-write, so that kind of helps me there. But when I have interviews, I invite my guests to just talk. I don't want them to feel like there's any time limit. And then I edit it down. That process gets really hard. It's hard to make a decision as to what needs to be in the episode and what doesn't. And I keep going over it and replaying it. So it'll be maybe like 4 or 5 edits before I actually release it. So it does get difficult in that regard.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Of all your guests, because obviously you are interview based for a lot of it, but of all your guests, what would you say is the one that you had the best time with, or the one that maybe took the longest amount of time because you were having such a great time with them?
Oh gosh, I had the opportunity to interview Blair St. Clair from RuPaul's Drag Race. We actually knew each other. I was doing drag when she started, but we didn't know each other that well. We did a few shows together. But then she blew up and got famous, so we got to reconnect. And I really, really appreciate her perspective on what it means to be famous and how to handle it. But I think that my all-time favorite guest would have to be author Dwight Allen O'Neill. He recently wrote a book about his life, which is very similar to my podcast, in that he's a performer, he's an actor, and he just tells his life story. But having a similar experience as Black gay men, we just really connected, and he gave me so much advice. So you can actually hear in my podcast me learning from my guests.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I hope we get to that where we start
at some point. I need to learn something first.
We gotta stop talking to each other so much. Speaking of Drag Race, what's your favorite season of RuPaul's Drag Race? That's such a great show in our household.
Oh, you know what? Honestly, it's an underwatched season, but season 1 by far is my favorite. And although it has the least like drama, I really get into the technical aspects of the show where they really featured what it means to be a drag queen. I don't feel like they do that as much now. Now that it's on VH1, it's all about who's upset with who and all that type of drama. But the first season really, really gets down to the art of it. And that's what I enjoy the most.
Yeah, it gets down to like who can do the best drop. Yes. That's that one move that I'm so scared to try. Just the drop. That's cool.
Man. You know, I've had a very successful career and never done it once. So
yeah. All right. Nervous. Yeah. Do you have any questions?
I mean, we're talking about RuPaul, but do you have anyone who might you would count as an inspiration, either on a creative level, as a personality, as a performer? Anyone you kind of draw from?
Absolutely. There is a host of trans drag performers that don't get featured on Drag Race who I inspire from. My drag mother is the legendary Miss Sandra Hall. She's out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Beautiful entertainer. Giselle Barbie Royale. She actually is a international pageant queen. She is based somewhere down south. I forget exactly, but she's been a huge inspiration to me. And then there was a very, very big pageant queen. Her name was Tanisha Cassadine. Unfortunately, she passed away. But I was super inspired. I've actually recreated some of her numbers, and her drag daughter, Sasha Cassadine, lives in Minnesota where I live, and we're close. So I kind of get to experience some of her lessons through Sasha as well.
That's nice.
That's great, yeah. Now, having a platform where you get to meet a lot of interesting people and you work in the ranks up, what would you say is something that you would like to see as a pinnacle of your podcast, or at least like an achievable goal where you'd like to see that thing go?
You know, this has been such an adventure. I mean, I started this because I just was bored. I really, honestly, that was it. I was bored. We were in quarantine, and I said, you know what? I've always wanted to do this. And the doors that have opened since I just made the decision to press record, it's amazing. So if you ask me where I think it's going, I am on a roller coaster. I have no idea. But it just keeps growing and growing, and I'm a person that loves to grow. That's exactly what my podcast is about, growing and learning and living a happy life. So for me, I am enjoying this particular moment because I'm allowing my podcast to take itself on its own journey. Doing drag and working as a drag queen, you're very much in charge. You're very planned out. You're very organized. This, aside from the fact that I do organize my episodes, in terms of what doors have been opening, I'm just open to what the world has to offer.
It's good attitude. Yeah, it's not too bad. Is there, I've been thinking, if you manage to get guests on, is there a particular guest that maybe you would want to draw attention to, someone you'd really like to interview that you think you might be able to bring to people's attention a bit more? Is there someone that you would like to have on to kind of boost their signal?
Yes. Oh, well, there is a famous person I really want, but they keep ignoring my messages on Instagram.
Or your targeted person that you really want on. Either way.
Electra Abundance from Pose, Dominique Jackson. I have been messaging her, so if she happens to see this, please message me back. I really want to interview you. But in terms of that, I'm open really to anybody that has a story to tell. I am particular about my guests, but I'm only particular in the fact that I want it to be a good story. You can't just come on my podcast and promote something. I want my people to learn from you. So if there's someone watching that has a story, hit me up.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Man, people ask me all the time, what are your best shows you're watching right now? And I have a couple, but Pose is always in my top 3. Mm-hmm. That show is such a spectacular show and definitely underappreciated. That show is just beautiful. So one thing you kind of come across when you interview a lot of people is their failures, which are also just side successes, successes waiting to happen. What would you like to talk about one of your either bigger failures or a failure that you've come across that taught you something or pushed you towards a better position?
Oh, gosh. I fail all the time. I probably failed today in some way. I think that my two biggest failures in life would be in drag. I didn't believe in myself enough for a long time, and I was always holding myself back. And I would look at other people who, in my humble opinion, had less talent than me, but they were willing to put themselves out there in a way that I was too reserved to do. So I think that I spent many years in my drag career treading water just because I was holding myself back because I didn't have the confidence to really take risks. You know, I always played it safe. So that would be the first thing. Then this past summer, I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And while I don't want to sit here and say that I didn't think I had any health problems, I didn't know it was that bad. And I spent a lot of my life focused on what I want to do next. Like, I want to be in this show and I want to go after this opportunity, that I really wasn't focused on my health. And I wish I had taken more time. But now that I'm here, it's been an amazing journey in regaining control of my health. And I'm super proud of myself for all the work that I've done in that arena. And it's going really good. So it's an opportunity to start again.
Right on. Yeah. No, that's good. Just a second. Man, we're covering a lot of ground already.
I know.
Answering questions I had prepared before we actually asked them.
Yeah,
in the realm of taking risks, is there a risk that you have taken recently that's been paying off? Something that you didn't think would actually open a door and then you just walked right on through?
Yeah. So I had a really interesting experience with my podcast recently. PRX and Google had this opportunity where you could take a class, and I think they gave you some money and new equipment and all that stuff. And they were looking all over the world. And unfortunately, they chose 20 people. They told me verbatim that I was number 21. So I didn't quite make it, but I'm going to try again next year. However, they have put me with the mentor. Her name is MJ from Cocktails and Cancer Podcast. She's been really, really great and really helping me just polish what I'm doing, because season 3 comes out January 2021, but we're working on it now. And that's been such a blessing in my life in terms of podcasting. And there's been a few conferences and stuff they've invited me to, and they are offering to pay for me to take some other courses this coming January. So even though I didn't get what I wanted per se, I got something, and it's been amazing to have that.
That's cool. Now, we interview a lot of people as well, and it kind of boosts what we do, but that's obviously what we do. When it comes to interviewing people and the stories that you hear, do you ever get to a creative level? Do you ever start writing stories or creating your own fiction, or things that just aren't just,
Yeah, that's a great question. So before I discovered that I wanted to do drag and be a personality, I guess, I actually wanted to be a writer. So I have been published as a poet several times, and I'm currently working on a companion piece to Snacksize that is a self-help book.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Right on.
Yeah.
So you write books, you do podcasts. I saw on your social media you do photo shoots. Other stuff that you probably can't talk about. Do you consume media? Do you ever just sit down and, other than the show Pose, obviously, do you ever just sit down and just let other people's media wash over you?
Oh, yeah. I'm a binger.
Okay.
So I create my own costumes. So that's a great time to get into a TV show. Currently, I'm catching up on SVU. And I think before that, I was into Tyler Perry's The Haves and the Have-Nots. I am kind of one of those people, when I get sucked in, I have to know everything that happens until the end. So I prefer series and stuff.
Yeah. Now we're huge nerds that you probably see around this room. That we have a lot of media, a lot of weird nerdom. Does your likes and dislikes that ever cross nerd things? Are there any part of nerd fandom that you're into at all?
Sure. I have to do a lot of comic characters. So I was telling you all just before this, for a project I'm doing, I just did Poison Ivy. And I have a Wonder Woman. And I am working on a Catwoman as well. So kind of just the sexy icons of the comic world. I'm trying to get some costumes for that.
Oh, That's cool.
No, Zach wants to ask you about Batman.
I do. I know. I usually ask people like, "Hey, what's your favorite Batman?" Because what we found is that whenever we talk to any single person, Batman has been part of their life in some degree, which turned out to be just a weird coincidence because it's always been around since obviously the 30s, I think. Do you have a favorite Batman? Does Batman, obviously you're into Poison Ivy, Catwoman. That's Batman Rogues Gallery right there. Do you have a favorite Batman?
I would say The Dark Knight is my favorite. I think it's only one of a few that I've actually seen. So not that I've seen them all and can make an informed decision, but that would be my favorite. And the Joker is really my favorite character in that movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
With Jared Leto's Joker, or like I guess that's Heath Ledger's Joker.
That's Heath
right?
Ledger.
Yeah.
You know better.
Okay. That's fine. Do you have any more nerd questions?
I mean, I guess looking forward, just a little sneak peek of season 3. Is there a particular kind of topic or episode you want to tease us with that you're particularly proud of? Is there something coming up you want to kind of foreshadow a little bit, or you want to keep everybody in surprise?
You will be shocked as to who the hardest guest for me to get on this season is. My mother.
Oh.
My mother.
Oh, okay.
I really want her to come on the show and talk about the experience of raising a Black gay child. And she has, I have her 80% agreed. So I'm hoping that it actually works out. She is a very, very smart woman, wise woman. And I really think it would be an interesting story, especially to talk about me, because I do plan on asking her some questions I've never even asked her in life. But just getting her to be comfortable with technology and the idea that a bunch of people are going to listen to it has been a struggle. So keep your fingers crossed. Because I really wanted to happen.
For you.
Yeah, it actually sounds like a great episode.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I would say out of all the people I would like to talk to on this show, my mom is not at anywhere on that list.
I don't know how my parents would do on this show.
Yeah, I don't want parents asking me questions. I don't want to ask them questions. That's fine. Okay, I think that was all the questions that we had. So I guess we're going to get down to the meat of our show real fast. And like we said off backstage, what we do here is Dylan comes to our meetings once a week with a weird idea, something we haven't developed that we would like to, or think that it's a cool idea. And then I do the same thing, and then somebody chooses. We stopped being able to choose because we both think that we're smart and intelligent, and so we had our guests start choosing. So, Miss Lala, you're going to choose for us today. Yeah. And what do you got?
I'm going to bring back one that I've had before.
What's that one?
Spider Talk Show.
Ooh,
it's a talk show.
Webb.
It's a talk show hosted by a spider, presented probably in a way for kids, or at least an educational format, where he interviews various insects that have become trapped in this web, and then you learn about them, and then at the end it's like, well, I finished the interview, can I go? And it's like, well, no, it's about lunchtime, and then of course it ends with a spider doing what spiders do. And you have like rotating guests of some sort, and
I like that.
Yeah.
I don't think enough shows are geared towards kids and like learning, even if it is funny.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's a little macabre, but you know.
Yeah, but
kids get away with seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, hey, death is part of nature, I think.
Yeah.
That's what Lion King says.
That's true.
Okay, so my idea for the week, you know that I'm a big fan of thrift shops.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a fan of outdated media as well. So I had this idea as I saw an answering machine in a thrift shop.
Okay.
And I was thinking that it'd be really cool if kids found an answering machine and not really knowing what it is, they played the tape in there, and it's like a love message to somebody. Ooh. And then they decide to go on like a mini little mystery as to connecting these people who are trying to start their own thing. So finding an answer machine.
It's like a lost love, or like a,
I don't know. It's something on the answer machine is mysterious enough for these kids to want to go on this journey.
Cool.
So yeah, we're just gonna say random answer machine.
It's like a modern day message in a bottle.
Modern day message. I love that. All right, so modern day. Try to write this fast. Okay. Miss Lala, please do us the honor of picking one of these two things. You have the choice of a kids geared, late night style.
It's family friendly.
Family friendly interview show with a spider and probably interviews a lot of bugs.
Yeah.
That get caught in the web. Or a semi kids geared thriller where they're using outdated technology to solve some kind of mystery that might seem mundane at the start and turn into something very, very big. Who knows?
Knowing us, yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
I really like both ideas. They're awesome. In fact, my favorite book as a child was Miss Spider. And I don't know if they still make those books, but it was about a woman spider who had like tea parties and stuff. It was super fun. But I think that the answering machine is definitely the way to go. I think I like that.
All right.
I win again.
Let's see. How many times is this? I think I might just drop the spider idea and do it myself.
I think this lost 5 times now.
I'm not upset. This is just funny.
No,
this is the longest streak we've had.
Yeah,
4 or 5 times. That's fine.
So modern day message.
Modern day message.
Okay, Miss Lala.
Yes.
I know you have somewhere very important to be, or else we would ask you to stay and help us write this story. But one more time, in case people do happen to just join in right now, where can people find you? What's your show called? What would you like people to know about you?
So my show is called Snacksize Podcast, and you can catch me everywhere. www.snacksizepodcast.com is my homepage, but I'm on every single podcasting platform, iHeartRadio, Pandora. Okay, this is super cool. I've never got to say this on an interview. I'm on Alexa now.
Whoa!
What?
Yeah,
we can't get on Alexa.
Yeah, so you
great.
can say, Alexa, play Snacksize, and my voice starts playing. I literally, the day that I found out that it happened, I probably did it like 20 times.
Oh, man.
I now have a new goal.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, so season 1 and 2 are streaming right now, and season 3 will debut in January 2021.
Right on.
Awesome.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you so much for taking your time and hanging out with us and helping us choose a very stupid thing to do. So, yeah. Feel free, everybody. Check out Miss Snack.
Yeah, go check it out.
Thank you.
Yes. I can't wait to see if the voice answering machine mystery is solved.
We're going to find out, too.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We'll see you soon.
Take it
Bye.
easy.
Okay.
All right.
Answer machine.
Answer machine. So what do you have in mind for this one?
I like the idea of kids using outdated technology.
Mhm.
I think that's always funny to me. You know, like I tell you, I have a daughter, and whenever I put in a VHS tape, she really gets a solid giggle out of that.
Mm-hmm.
So kids finding a answer machine, not knowing what it is, and then the humor with that, turning into a subtle mystery, and then who knows? Obviously, like, we always take stuff to a very weird level.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't really know. I just think that finding a message on an answer machine and trying to solve a mystery is cool.
And you said this was geared more, not necessarily super mature. Like, this is more like family friendly, or like you said you said something about like kind of like kid friendly earlier.
Well, I felt like it would be cool, like a Super 8 or like a Stranger Things kind of a feel.
Okay.
You can go headphones right now. I think that that like a younger age trying to deal with technology is funny.
Sure.
To me. So I would like to make it like a younger group of kids.
Yeah.
I don't think we've done like
we haven't really done kids on bikes.
We haven't done kids on bikes.
Yeah.
It's time to do it.
Is this set during modern day then? Or
I
at
think
least
so.
Modern, 5 minutes into the future or whatever.
Yeah, I think
last summer.
I think to make it the most poignant, it would need to be modern day. Because you think like the last answer machines, late 90s, mid 2000s probably.
You can still buy them on Amazon.
I mean, you can definitely get them, but why would you own one? What's your landline number? You don't have one.
I remember my old house number in Ohio.
Yeah, but that's your old house that probably had an answer machine.
Yeah, it did.
Nobody with landlines needs answer machines.
No.
There's digital things.
The only people I can ever think of with landlines are businesses. Right now. Yeah.
And they have digital services to do that, the cloud and whatever. So I think that if we do this, it's like
sorry, I went down a rabbit hole mentally.
No, don't do that.
Don't worry about it.
Save the rabbit hole for later. So I think if this is modern day, and I don't know, because there were so many different kinds of answer machines, but the ones that had tapes, there were like the older ones that either had like a phone connected to them or something. Who knows,
it's like that countertop, like answering machine phone cradle.
Yeah.
So there's a phone on it.
I think
cool.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. I think kids would look at it and be like, what is this? Because like, okay, so when you mimic the hand motion to hang up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
nobody does this.
Right.
Not really.
You can't hang. Like, there's not.
You don't hang up anymore. You shut off.
It's a button push, right?
Yeah.
So I think that even like people don't know why this maneuver exists. So I think that idea is cool. So
it's like when you hear kids nowadays say, see a floppy disk and they've 3D printed a save icon.
Dude, I would hit that kid. Well, actually, before we get into this,
sure.
Do you want to say your things?
If you're just tuning in, this is Talking Upstream. My name is Dylan. This is Zach. This is our whiteboard. We are some nobodies, as you can see from the URL at the top of that whiteboard. And this is, did I say this is Talking Upstream?
I think so.
Yeah, again.
I was stuck on the fact you said URL. I was like, what's that mean?
Ultimate
Revenge
link.
Oh, okay. No, that makes sense.
You can show those people who's boss by going to our website. No, this is Talking Upstream, where Zach and I do a 90-minute version of our creative meetings we hold every week, where we develop ideas into something we can build upon later. Foundations. That's what these are. And this is just an example of our creative process and how you can take what is a three-word idea and turn it into something that potentially you can write later.
Yeah.
And so for the next 60 minutes or so, we're going to be working on an idea where a group of kids find an answering machine in a thrift store in the modern day, and there's a message on it that they are inspired to find the origin of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how we go about developing our ideas.
Yeah. They've invented a mystery.
Yeah.
But special thanks to International Broadcast Media Television for having us on here and letting us chat. It's cool to have meetings with Dylan because we are funny. And
we enjoy each other's company. It helps.
And now somebody else wanted to watch it, so you
yeah,
guys get to see it. That's cool. Okay, so kids on bikes.
I'm assuming. Should we set this during the summer for ease of having the kids, giving the kids some freedom to like move about, or do we want to have it during the school year and we can have some school scenes?
Summertime.
Summertime.
Cool. Parents are away. They get money for pizza. They go to a local thrift shop.
For those who don't know, when I say kids on bikes, I'm referring to a subgenre of drama.
Adventure drama, yeah.
Adventure drama featuring kids of a certain age, usually young teenagers, who are free of the obligations of their life, such as school or something like that, where they have to deal with it. But effectively, they're riding around their town on their bikes, having little like kid-friendly adventures, or in some cases, dealing with some very real peril. And I don't know what you have in mind for this. I don't know if peril is necessarily what we're looking for in this one.
Some kind of peril.
It's good to have them. Usually, kids on bikes are the catalyst for like a coming of age story.
Yeah,
where the children's world is opened up and they come out of it changed and matured a little bit.
What's the most popular kids on bikes?
Current day or ever? Because ever. E.T.
I say Goonies.
Goonies?
I think Goonies. E.T.'s a good one. The only problem with E.T. is that it's not really a group so much.
You're right. Yeah.
Kind of.
It's him and his little sister.
Yeah.
The current codifier is Stranger Things.
Easily. Yeah. Stranger Things.
Which is fine.
Yeah. You also would know like Super 8. Well, there's a whole bunch of other ones. But yeah,
it's Spielberg fan fiction.
It's easy.
It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fun. I like
Wonder
Super 8.
Is so cool to watch.
Yes.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we have the kids on bikes. So I think that it is the beginning of summer. Like I said, they have like pizza money. Whatever kids have now. Pizza bitcoins.
They're not in school, but their parents still have to work. I'm assuming their parents are like, they show up in the morning, and they show up at night, and they're absent during the main thrust of this.
Oh, absolutely. 9 to 5, no parents.
Yep. Are you seeing this as a single shot, like a single like feature or a short film, or like a longer series or a limited series, comic book?
I see this as a feature film as of right now.
Okay.
I like the wonder. I like the mystery. Yeah. The only problem that I'm having so far with this is that these stories, because they've been told so many times, I really like it that it starts off as a mini mystery that swerves hard into something.
Okay.
So, like, they find this answer machine, they go, oh, there's a love story on here. Let's find this out, blah, blah. And then they look this person up and say, oh, they're dead. Oh.
Okay. Then what is the catalyst? Okay, so let's roll with that, because I agree.
Yeah.
This genre, Kids on Bikes, is very, very fertile for supernatural, paranormal, mystery, sci-fi, whatever. Because the kids you never have to have the kids question the reality of it, because they kind of buy into it. It is good to have like aloof authority figures, so the parents are out or gone or too busy to deal with this, and they might not believe it in the first place. So they find an answering machine in a thrift store. There's a message on it, which gets them inspired to hunt down whoever left the message. Left the message or owned the machine?
I would say left the message.
They go for the person who left the message first. So they leave like a name. It's like, hey, it's Joseph.
Oh, I guess you can't do a full name. Well, okay, so let's just say that it's the person who...
I feel like the natural flow of events would be they find the message, they go back to the thrift store and ask if the person remembers who brought the answering machine. They probably don't.
No, they don't.
Unless it's a small town thrift store where they like know everybody.
No.
Okay.
I like doing both what we said. So they listen to the first message and it's like this super cute, maybe it's a mysterious message, maybe it's a love message, and they're like, wow, we should give this back to who it goes to. And then they listen to the outgoing message, and that's how they know the person's name.
Okay.
And they go, hey, this is...
You've reached
the home of Martha Johnson.
Martha Johnson. Names are placeholders.
Yeah, the first names are always placeholders.
First names are always placeholders.
Yeah. You've reached the home number, the home machine of Martha Johnson.
Cool.
Please leave your number at the beep, or she even leaves her own number. It's something that people say, you've reached blah 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 303-555.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The home of Martha Johnson.
It's a local number.
It's a local number.
We can go find this person. They don't have phone books, they have the internet.
We have the internet, yeah. So they Google her, and they find like an obituary.
Yep.
And either they still, because they're mysterious and bored kids, do they call the number?
I think they start off doing that.
They start off calling.
And it's just a non-connect.
Okay.
It's like, this number is no longer in service.
Yeah.
I think they still have that message. It's not a cell phone number. It's a home number. It's
a landline number, yeah. So, the number is no longer in service. And then maybe they wonder, like, okay, let's listen to all the messages that are on this thing. And there's only one. And it's from this person.
Yeah.
And it's either a love or... Is there a call for help?
I don't know. I like the idea that it's a love, like a romance message. Maybe there's like a lovesick character in here, and he's like,
well, maybe it's like one of those kind of messages, like, I hope, maybe it's like an old war vet or something, and it's like, I hope my tour ends soon, so I can come home to you. And maybe the kid's like, well, I just kind of want to know,
my dearest Sarah.
Yeah.
I have been in the field for 6 weeks.
Oh, my dearest Martha.
They have taken my leg.
The only thing that comforts my soul is the knowledge of knowing that I'll be home to your sweet arms soon. That and the grits I get served every day.
They're listening to the message and they're like, man, this is dumb. And it pans over to like the tough guy and the tough kid, and he's just sobbing.
Oh, classic. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Do we want to get some characters?
Yes.
I'm seeing at least 3 kids.
At least 3. I think 3 to start.
I think
we're
3 of
going to add a 4th.
I think 3 of one age, 1 older who comes in later.
Okay.
Maybe that older one has a car.
So we have kid 1, kid 2. I had to quickly think if let's go with child. Child 1, child 1, child 2, child 3, and then child 4. Or characters.
That's how we have done that in the past.
That sounds better. I wrote that.
That's fine.
I don't know. Okay, so same age, right? These kids
are
the same age.
Going into high school?
So like 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got some 13-year-olds. We got a 12-year-old.
We got a 14-year-old.
They're preteen.
Yeah.
And then you got like the one that's like 17, 16.
They have their license, but they don't have a car yet.
Yeah.
They have to borrow their parents or something.
They got a real cool bike.
Yeah.
Okay.
13, yo. Anyway.
You were a kid once.
I was.
Okay.
A spring fully formed from my father's forehead.
So we're going to say character 1 is the one that finds the tape because they have the money.
Sure.
Right? Character 1 and character 4 are the siblings.
Okay.
That's just how it has to work.
Yeah.
So we'll say these 2 are related. Now we're going to say character 1 is a girl.
Okay.
Right? Character 4 is a boy, older brother. Character 2 is character 1's best friend.
Yeah, sure.
So it's another girl. We'll give them more descriptors in a second.
Yeah.
And we'll say character 3 is their nerd boyfriend.
Yeah.
Nerd.
Boy space friend.
Male friend. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
He plays tough, but he's very into pop culture and that sort of thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's fronting so that he can hang with the older kids.
Classic Zach Wiseman.
Yeah.
All right, and then we're gonna say that they get this stuff at just a local thrift shop, which is like our thrift shops. No big deal.
Why are they going to a thrift store? I if they're browsing, that's fine, but I like the idea that they're going to specifically find something.
Old video games, dog.
Trying to find old video games?
Why else do you?
Sure.
Not you, I guess.
C3 just built a PC. It's like a 12-year-old like PC builder,
Yep.
and it's like, man, you never know what you can find.
Yeah, so he goes for old electronics. He goes for old games.
Yeah.
Old driving systems.
Yeah. Need for Speed. Whatever one. I don't know. I've never played Need for Speed much.
I don't think it was called Need for Speed 1.
No, it's probably just called Need for Speed.
All right, so they go to a thrift shop.
Requirement for velocity.
Is that what?
Like Need for Speed, but like different words. You know how we do it. How we do that sometimes.
The RFV.
Yeah.
Which is
it's a racing game. Why not?
It's a car, whatever. All right, so thrift shops for like electronics.
Oh yeah, and one of the struggles that C3 is going through is that the rest of them are going into high school at the end of the summer. He's still in middle school.
Oh, I like that. So he is 8th grade, going into 8th grade.
Yeah.
And 9th, and like 11th, because whatever. He's an idiot. He dropped out once. That's cool. Okay, so this is the beginning.
16 years old and he's in 11th grade? That's not bad. That's good.
That was me.
Yeah. I thought you were saying he got held back. I'm like, not in 11th grade.
Well, no,
unless he's young for his age.
Okay, so I guess in my brain,
young for his age.
He is young for his age. No, in my brain I was like, he should be a senior. No, he was going to be a senior, but got held back. I forgot he was 16. Either way,
that's fine.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. So it is the beginning of summer,
or
is it the last day of summer?
How much time do we want to elapse in this story?
No idea.
Okay,
I don't know the story is yet.
That's fair.
What's the story?
So kids go to a thrift store.
Yep.
They find a message on an answering machine. They call the outgoing number listed on the answering machine, and they get a disconnected line. They look up the name on the outgoing message. They're like, "Hey, we found this message. What if one of the C1 or C2 wants to be like a journalist of like a writer of some sort, and this is like her she's writing. She found a story about romance, and this is something she's working on.
And obviously C1 and C2 being best friends have a podcast.
Yeah.
It's like solve any mystery.
Yeah, kind of.
Start a podcast.
We need a justification for why they're doing something that it doesn't pay and takes a lot of work and doesn't see a whole lot of results. They have a podcast.
Audacity, buddy.
Tick, tick, tick.
That's it.
Anyway, so yeah, she's got a podcast where she does like her version of a radio show where she writes her own stories for it. She's a go-getter.
Maybe one of them writes like romance stories, which is
sure.
why this is intriguing to start.
Yeah. And it's like we found a real life romance mystery. We have to follow. We're in it right now. And then they look at the camera. I don't know. No, we're not doing that.
No, I'm okay with that. I like that. Yeah.
It's the one time we acknowledge it.
Yeah. And that's like the one shot that's over.
They look at the camera, but instead of looking directly at the camera, they like look over. They're like, "We're in the story," and it like the camera angle very clearly shows they're not looking at the camera.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you do a thing where like they look right into the camera, and like as the camera sees it, it spins all the way around, and someone else go like, "What are you looking for?"
Oh, that works too.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a bit we'll do when we actually produce this.
It's a good bit. We better save it.
Anyway, so. I think that's a good kind of network of characters. Is C4 just kind of a punk? Not too cool for his younger sister, but kind of like, okay, who am I beating up? I got to do it fast.
I think he should just be like a real nerd.
Okay.
And then all the kids still look up to him anyway.
Sure.
He's like a DM. You know, like a real nerd, but like he's the coolest that they know. I think
Warhammer.
Yeah, we don't need to be picking on people. This is a non-bullying story. We need more of those in our world.
More bullies?
More non-bullying
stories.
Oh,
okay. Yeah.
Okay. We definitely need more bullies. Just to write it out.
I think Zach was a bully in high school.
I was not. I was bullied. I told you that many times. I'm just tall.
Whatever, nerd. Yeah, I'm just tall. Anyway, no, we're getting into the mindset. That's good. So, we need a hook as to where this swerves to, because so far we've gotten up to the point where they discover that this number and person, because it seems if this person is dead, then it kind of stops there unless something weird happens.
Okay, maybe the youngest one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. So throw this out there.
Okay.
Maybe they throw out there that because it's outdated technology, they have to use outdated tools / resources.
Okay.
And I don't know what that means.
Okay.
But for some reason, when I saw that phone, star 69 popped in my head.
Oh, like call back?
The callback.
Yeah. Okay.
So the only thing is, like, this person wouldn't know that. None of these kids would know
Would Star
that.
69 work that long after you got a phone call?
I honestly have not.
I don't know.
I've not dialed Star 69 in maybe 15 years.
It's been a long time.
I don't see...
You don't need to on cell phones because you get the number.
Yeah, because that was before caller ID. So pre-caller ID. I mean, is the question, would it work or how would they know about it? Would it work? Who knows? Because
I don't particularly care if it...
Because there's got to be the swerve.
Yeah.
Right? Now, what if it's a crazy swerve?
Okay.
At first, I was thinking horror.
Okay.
But what if it's sci-fi swerve?
Okay. Aliens?
No. I like aliens, though. You can't call aliens. They have landlines.
You don't know that.
Well, I think I do.
It's a very long cord.
And it's a cord all the way to
they turn around and they get wrapped up in it.
I'm thinking time travel.
The phone time travel?
No, they can make phone calls.
Time phone.
Time
phone. I'm in. Okay.
Time phone. That's all.
So,
that's both a great and a terrible name.
Okay, so in that case, I would like to put the order of events as this. They're hanging out. They're writing like romance mysteries or something. They're going with C3 to the thrift store to buy computer parts. They buy an old phone answering machine because...
Okay, so the builder also makes robots.
Okay, sure. He just strips them for parts.
Yeah, he needs parts.
He needs a speaker.
And he doesn't know what it is.
Yeah.
He's like, what is this?
I feel like he does know, but he goes, guy, they don't know what it is. And he goes, this is an answer.
This is a phone.
This is what a phone used to be like.
This is a phone.
Yeah.
Why is it so big? It's like, well, this one also has an answer machine.
What's an answer machine? It's your voicemail, but back when your voicemail was outside the phone.
Think of a robot that would answer phones for you.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
It
is kind of cool.
Man, why did we make these? And they hold up like a tiny phone, like a phone, like a modern day one.
The cassette tape in it, like this thing.
Yeah.
Why do we make phones?
Why do we ever go back? Why do we ever stop making these? Look at this. Yeah, I like the idea that they're excited to find it. Yeah. They plug it in just to see there's a tape in it.
They don't know what it is.
They play the tape. They get the name.
They're like, is this like a Zoom?
I figured they search for the name first and see that the person is dead.
Yeah.
And then they call it and they
answer.
Someone picks up.
Yeah.
Is it the dead person in the past?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
And they go,
okay.
Wait, we looked you up on the internet. We thought you were passed away. And that person's like, what's the internet?
We looked you up online. On what?
What line?
Okay.
Like, no, we just Googled you. I don't know.
Cool. Okay, that's the first act.
Yeah.
First act is them learning this.
Yeah.
Cool.
Time phone.
Do they try? Okay. If we're doing non-linear, if we're doing time messaging of information, we need to establish what they can change, how long it takes, and if they notice.
Okay.
Because time travel, as a genre, has a lot of baggage attached to it. Think about Back to the Future, Doctor Who, Bill and Ted, Endgame. Yeah, yes. I forgot what I didn't know. That movie. I forgot what movie you were talking about briefly.
What? Endgame.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters and haven't watched it since. It's fine.
It's fine.
Time travel stories come with a lot of baggage because if you go back in time, do something different, the question arises: how does that affect the present of that character?
Yeah.
Would they still go back in time? If they didn't go back in time, does that change the past? And suddenly you have a bunch of questions that need to be either addressed or just outright ignored and not brought up.
Yeah, Endgame obviously brought up this paradox, which is, I forget what the name of this paradox is.
Bootstrap paradox?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Where you have a couple different styles of time travel, what Dylan said. You either go back in time, the Terminator theory, where if what the Terminator went back in time to do worked, why would they ever build a Terminator to go back in time? So there's that theory. Mm-hmm. Then there's the Back to the Future theory, which is you're creating a different timeline that just exists now. You're just kind of hopping timelines. Endgame, what they posed is that you create different realities that all exist at the same time, mm-hmm. and you're just on one path. This is the reason Dylan and I don't do time travel stories, because there are so many weird rules that go into it.
And yet we do kind of do time travels. We do time travel stories, but we do it in a way where it's not a physical journey back to the past, or we straight up... I'm a big fan of not addressing the paradoxes. You just, if you don't bring it up, people are going to ask the question, but it's never internally, it's never inconsistent for acknowledging the paradox.
Right.
Or I have my own like fan theory that the reason Back to the Future time travel works is that when you exit your natural place in the time stream, you are immune to changes from it. You remove yourself from it and are therefore no longer affected.
So the way that I am going to pose this specific time travel is none of those.
Okay.
And it is the one where things always happen.
Sure. Okay.
Where you can actually never actually affect the past.
Determinism.
It's the Harry Potter time travel theory. Where you go back, and because you did at one point, you have to always do that.
Yeah.
And that makes the normal sequence happen.
Nothing changes. It always happened like this.
It always happened like this.
So are the kids not going to prevent this guy from dying?
They're going to try.
They're going to try.
But they can't.
Ugh, that's going to be rough on them.
Yeah, but they can probably do other things.
Okay.
Like, I do like the idea of when people can communicate with the past, that creates certain events that happen that might not have happened before, but because they did that. Like, did you watch a show on Netflix called Dark?
I've seen the first few episodes, but it's something I really need to sit down and watch.
And that is the kind of linear, or I guess, is that a looping story?
That's a loop. From what you've said, that is a loop. That's a stable time loop.
Now, Dark does it in a way different and way more interesting style, where one day somebody comes up and says, you're going to write this book in the future. I need you to write it sooner. But because they do that, it has to happen. Blah, blah.
Yes.
So I think I think we should do a looping storyline.
Sure.
I think it makes the most sense because these kids can affect a lot.
Yeah.
And we don't really know a lot of what's happening in this person's life yet. But I say that we keep this to a very small scale looping story with major butterfly wing effects.
Okay. So in that case, there needs to be something for them as a story point to justify the loop existing. It can't just be that they get in contact with this person, he drops the answering machine off and dies. I don't think that's interesting for a story point of view.
No.
It needs to affect something for these kids for them to feel like they have grown, despite the fact that it was destined to happen. You know what I mean?
Yes, and I don't know the answer yet, but I will say that the kids that I see in here are going to want to help this person.
Yeah.
So I think that the push to help is going to happen. I don't know what... Are you asking what should happen because of it?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. Should we run through the logical steps of this narrative so far? Or should we kind of like see where we feel this is going next after they get the dead guy to pick up in the past?
Sure.
So, I'm assuming that when they hear the person answer, they're probably just going to hang up because their kid's doing prank phone calls.
Yeah.
And they saw that the owner of this phone, or whoever had the answering machine, is now dead in their current... They wouldn't immediately assume that it's answering from the past. Right?
True.
They would think it got reassigned to like a cell phone or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they would just call out of curiosity.
Yeah.
And then the person answers.
Yeah.
And
I figured they call back. So
I was trying to walk myself through why they would call back. And they're going to want the story. Yeah. Which means they're going to want to give what they now think is a sibling, a kid of this past person. Past is in P-A-S-S-E-D, not P-A-S-T. For that sentence.
The dead person.
The dead person.
Yeah.
They're going to want to give this machine back because there's a love message on it.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they're going to call back. Because they go, hey, look, we have to give this back. Just call them and just find out where if they can come get it. We'll drop it off somewhere. So they call back, and that's when they're like, hey, we found out that your so-and-so is deceased.
Yeah.
We just want to give you this answer machine back. Wait, what the I guess they're calling on the same phone. I can't deal with paradoxes. I can't stand that. But
it's a. Oh, I see what you mean. Because they found this phone and they're calling.
Yeah, but
I assume they would be calling the incoming number. It's like, hey, call me back when you get this. My number is because they wouldn't necessarily have each other's numbers back then.
Right.
So they would leave their name and number.
Like, hey, I get that. They're calling, which turns out to be the same phone, I guess technically, but whatever. Because it's theirs.
No, so what I was seeing, and I want to make sure we get our time travel straight. They have the entry machine phone combo.
Yeah.
They hear a message where it's like, "This is me being romantic, and I miss you. Please call me back. My number is this." Oh,
they call
that number because they think, "Well, it might still be in service," and that does change it.
Well, no,
a little bit. Well, no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. You're right. So I thought they were calling the owner of the phone who says, "Leave a message. My number is."
I can definitely see where the confusion came in.
But
on that one.
That doesn't matter.
I think it kind of does because it ropes in the person who's calling, and then this person's dead. This person was calling them in the past. The kids call this person.
So I kind of see it the other way.
Okay.
Where they called this phone, this person, blah blah blah, and they go. Okay, and they get confused with the conversation because that person is obviously not dead. Mm-hmm. They think they're dead. So what they do is they hang up thinking like, okay, that person's crazy. Let's just call the other number and just tell them, hey, we have your friend's phone. Give it back to him. And that's why they call the other number maybe.
They call the number on the phone first.
Because so when you get an old answer machine, you can either listen to your outgoing message or you can listen to all your incoming messages.
Okay.
So listen to the outgoing message. It would be, hey, thank you for calling Martha Johnson. Yeah. My number, the home of 303, whatever. Yeah. And they could call that number first, and that person is passed.
Well, then I guess I wouldn't necessarily be the number tied to this phone answering machine combo.
I was only getting hung up on the fact that they're calling their own phone technically, and it doesn't really matter because they're calling a number and whatever.
Sure, it can be reassigned.
And also, the physicals are never swapping time, so it doesn't matter. Do you like them calling the phone owner first or the message leaver first?
I like them calling the message leaver, and they're like, hey, we got the answering machine you called. I don't know if you knew they were dead. And he goes, what if she was like, hey, Martha? This kid said Martha's right here. Like Martha, like, you got a hold of him or something.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know where to go after that then.
I imagine it would be the kids trying to prevent. I imagine there would be the revelation.
So it's like, oh,
and then they're trying to prevent Martha. They're like trying to help her realize what's happening.
Yeah. Okay. So we have Martha.
Martha's the one who is dead in the present.
What
of
do you
the
want
story.
Do you want to set a time for this?
2020.
No, not the now time. When they call back time.
Oh.
Like 97. I think it should be before 2000.
Sure, 97. And let's not make it a 0 or a 5 number. Let's just make it
97.
24 years or something.
It's 1997. So then we have message leaver.
Gary.
Perfect. You love Gary. Okay, so Gary is going to leave the message. When does Gary leave the message? So they find the phone in 2020.
Yeah. He hasn't left it by the time they call back. Well, but when they call back into the past in 97, he has not left that message yet.
Right, and a message has to be something that is either time specific or peril specific.
Yeah.
So I do like the idea of it being maybe he is deployed, and then when he calls back, he's like, I haven't left for war yet. I haven't left for the Gulf War.
That was 91.
I haven't left for... what war were we in 97?
I don't think we were.
The Internet War.
The war on drugs.
No, that was in the 80s.
It's ongoing.
What about... where would you go in 97 if you were in the Army?
I don't know.
There's got to be some Fallujah, Bosnia,
Afghanistan, Civil War.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know that we want to do that.
Should we do 91? I guess we can.
We could do 91. Yeah, Desert Storm.
Yeah, sure. So 91 is at 97. So Gary's about to be deployed to Desert Storm. Ooh. That was on the phones. That was before things got real. Desert Storm. No, man, you can like make fun of that.
I know, it's been a long
time. It was on SNL. Like, whatever. Okay, so we have 1991. You don't have to agree with all my jokes. It's fun. 1991 Martha, 1991 Gary.
How old are Martha and Gary?
Then?
Yeah. Like high schoolers, 18.
Ooh. Maybe in their early 20s.
Early 20s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he is pretty much done of his 4-year service when he's about to get deployed to Desert Storm.
Okay.
And the message that he leaves is 6 months later.
Martha and Gary are not together at the time that the kids call back in time. You know what I mean? Like they call back and they are not together, but from the message, it is very clear that it does eventually happen.
Yeah, love that.
So it's the kids trying to get them together to prevent him dying, and then them getting together ultimately winds up in the inevitability.
Maybe the kids think that Gary did it, and they're trying to keep them apart.
Ooh.
No?
I don't know. That feels a little dark.
Okay. That's fair.
I mean, so
I guess it would make sense. If we're trying to save someone's life, they'd want them to have a partner.
Yeah.
So that's fair.
Yeah.
They're trying to get them together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Okay, so we have our first third.
Yeah.
Right? The first third is the mundanity of 2020.
Yeah.
Kids in masks.
I don't think we reveal that he's in the military until the reveal that he's going to go overseas.
Well, I think his message should be something like...
And then he gets hit by a car. I don't know.
What?
It's a punchline. I don't know.
It's a punchline? What's the joke?
You think he's going to die some other way?
Why they shouldn't cross the road?
Mm.
No, I think there should be a message like, apparently my service is done soon. I can't wait to come home and finally go on that date.
I had to dance.
Oh yeah.
It's fine. No, it's fine. This is not a superhero thing.
I mean, it could be.
It could be.
We do like superheroes.
Yeah, they're fun.
All right, so no, I think it should be something that he's away and he comes back, whether it's Army or I think it's an easy setting. And that way, when they call, he's like, "But I haven't even left yet. Why would I leave that message now?" My name's Gary.
What if he's just not even in, and this entire event inspires him to like enlist, and that's the loop?
Oh, it's like you have to join the Army, Gary.
Maybe.
No, amazing.
Gerald.
Gerald. But Gary, you have to join the Army. It's 1991, Gary. The Army needs you.
Oh, I don't think these kids are that gung ho for Desert Storm.
They don't even know about Desert Storm. Okay.
At that point in the future, Call of Duty has caught up to the early 90s.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Just yelling Master Chief quotes at him. Okay, so what would you say is the next crux of the third?
There should be a span of time where they enter into just kind of like a discovery fun area where they have some sort of correspondence where it's like kids and hey Martha, I'm talking to some kids who say they're from 2020, and some of this sounds kind of crazy.
Ooh, what if when they look her up,
mm-hmm.
she was like aggressively rich?
Oh, okay.
And then when they call, because in this montage is them calling like, hey, you should invest in something called Google. You should invest in something.
Martha, buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It tops out at $9,000 each. Get them where they're 100. Wait 4 years and then sell.
And they're just like hardcore Googling things for her. Like
that's pretty good.
1991 money schemes.
She dies. I say they wind up finding out that Martha died. I say Martha and Gary are both dead when they find the answering machine.
Yeah, I agree.
Martha died of natural causes later in life.
Yeah.
Like a year or two before this takes place. Gary died tragically young. It happens.
Get hit by a truck. It's funny.
That's what you say.
Okay, so we have a bit of a montage here. So we have our classic time travel montage.
Oh yeah, no, we have the red herring where the threat of him dying in Desert Storm is ever present. Turns out he dies in like 97.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. And a lot of it is them trying to like prevent that from happening and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is that kind of story where you kind of gotta write it and then go back and rewrite it to make sure
that's the thing about time travel, man.
Yeah.
Is you like if you do it well, you need to have hints peppered throughout of what's happening.
Yeah. So, and that'd be a big push if they go, oh my God, this lady was rich. We should call her.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a reward. And it turns out that they're the reason that she was rich to begin with, for her schemes, but also writing a book about time phone. that what if one of the girls loves that book? She's like, this is like my favorite book, Time Phone. Dude, that's cool. I love when shows do that.
Perfect.
So here is what this has to be the realization that they can't really change the past. Is that what this part is?
I think so. I think that needs to be a frantic call to the past in order to try and prevent something, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We haven't really done anything that doesn't have... I mean, as far as peril goes, this is pretty low stakes.
Yeah, so far, except the fact that the two people that they're talking to, they know they're going to die.
Except they die of things that are not... I mean, of course, death is not necessarily something that's not sad, but they don't die in like very tragic ways necessarily.
Yeah.
They
don't know.
They aren't killed.
I don't know if Martha should... I think it should be a little bit closer to when she dies.
You mean...
From when
present?
When they call.
The present? No. Oh, she should die more sooner.
I think so. Okay. I think so. And I think because... So say that they look her up and they call her, and it's 1991 in her time when they call. But they realize that she doesn't really pass away until 97 or 98 or something.
Okay.
Like, there's not that big of a push. Like, hey, in 7 years, you're going to pass away from natural causes. Like, okay, well, that's not that cool, you know?
Yeah.
So if it's like, hey, you're going to get hit by something, or you're going to... Something happens in 6 months. And then that's why there's more of a conversation between the two. And then maybe her death is like a mystery. Maybe all the internet says like mysterious found
dead. No outside causes.
Local billionaire found dead in her house.
Billionaire author?
Well, I mean, if they're giving her like that Google money, that early Google money, that Apple money, the early Mac money. Okay, well, we're at that hour part. So in case you just tuned in right now or you've been checking us out for the last 60 plus minutes, my name is Zach and this is Dylan over here. Together, our group is called Some Nobodies. SomeNobodies.com is our website. And what we do with Some Nobodies is we create a whole bunch of weird content, podcasts, cartoons, movies, eventually board games, etc., etc. We have a TV show here on International Broadcast Media Television. It's called Talking Upstream. And what that show is Dylan and myself, and we're trying to talk our way to a streaming service, whether it is Hulu or Netflix or Disney. We want to show people that we can create nonstop content, and we want to show you the way that we do that, which is in our weekly meetings. The story that was chosen today by our super friend Lala Luzious from Snack Time. So please check out that podcast. We're going to get that in a little bit again. But she chose the story of a modern day message, which is as Dylan put it earlier, Kids on Bikes story of where some kids find an old answer machine that has a message on it that gets them a little bit intrigued because they are podcasters and journalists and just all around rambunctious children. And it turns out that every time they call from this phone, they call into the past, right? They call from that phone. It would have to be that, right?
Yeah.
Because if they find a number, they're going to call for a cell phone first.
Yeah. They call from that phone.
Yeah, so you got to plug it in.
Because they're doing it for the novelty at first.
Maybe they think they got to plug it in to listen to the message.
Like, yeah.
To it, so plug it in.
They got to plug it in, and then they, they're.
And then
it makes sense logically.
Okay, cool. So they go to plug it in, and it doesn't work. And they go, well, plug it in, duh. Look at this stupid cord.
Yeah.
And they go to plug it in, it doesn't work. And they're like, oh, you got to change the batteries because it's just an outlet. All right, cool. So
Gary and Martha are dead by the present.
Yes.
Both of them.
Yes.
Which one is the urgent one?
Martha.
Martha is the urgent one to prevent. So when does Gary die?
It doesn't
2019.
Really matter. Yeah.
Well, he needs to be dead beforehand, so they can't go unless they want to go talk to future Gary.
No, I don't think we should do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I don't like the thing of like, oh, I get to talk to my wife again. I don't want to go through that.
Okay.
So no, Gary's also passed. He did live maybe 10 or so years after her.
So he's dead in 2003.
Yeah, he lived long enough to spend all of her money. Too upsetting.
Wait, what? I thought...
Gary's kind of a jerk. I didn't know that. Okay. How does this end though? Like, how does the story just end? What? Either the ending is maybe the girl. She can't write the story.
Why not?
Because it had been written.
I say she does it, and we just cut out that Martha wrote. Martha got independently wealthy, but based on investments they.
But I kind of liked her reading a story that she was ultimately a part of.
Oh, I see.
Like I kind of like that.
What if it's not that she writes enough? She doesn't write the story, but she does like an expose on an underknown romance author, Martha so-and-so.
And it gets picked up by Netflix.
It gets picked up by Netflix as a documentary or a big podcast deal or something.
Do you see how easy it is for Netflix to pick up something?
Right.
Why can't they pick us up?
Anyway.
Spin around, show our director. What are you looking at me for? So the ending is what the kids maybe writing a movie about this?
I say it's the girls doing the podcast.
Yeah, okay, cool. So a sell all, tell all podcast.
It gets some recognition in it. We get a little bit of it. We get a little bit of hinting that it'll help them with like either college, or if we want to put the message forward that college isn't necessarily for everybody. It helps them get a gig doing an apprenticeship on like a set of something outside of school. It improves. The kids succeed and it improves their future prospects.
I love that. Kids succeed.
They also learn that time is valuable and they shouldn't wait to do cool stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I like that. We do got
what I have right now for bullet points. It's beginning of summer. Pizza money. Parents at work. Kids on bikes.
Mm-hmm.
C1, C2 write romance mysteries. Do a podcast. C3 builds computers and robots out of just spare parts.
So far, C4 is not needed.
So far, keep them in the wings. They find an answering machine at the thrift store. There's a message on it that's romantic.
Pause.
Yeah.
He could be like a 30-something-year-old dude that lives in a parent's house that doesn't have a job.
Okay.
And then he like makes some stupid joke about Star 69 in him or something. No, I know. The service.
Yes. No, I know. I know what you mean.
I'm trying to work in this other character.
Yes. No, I get it. I say we leave it for now.
All right.
Has a message on it that's romantic from Gary to Martha, right?
What if Gary and Martha are their parents?
Nah.
Okay.
I get it, but nah.
But maybe.
The outgoing message gives them a name, which is Gary.
Yeah.
Or outgoing, which is Martha. Martha, whatever.
Yep.
They search for the name, see an obituary for a rich, famous author. Because at that point, recent death or Martha died in 93?
I think close to this, like 92.
Okay.
Maybe she passed when Gary was in Desert Storm. So he never got a chance to like...
Oh, yikes, yeah. They call the number from the message. and the dead person answers, Martha. Wait, no, Martha wouldn't answer. Gary would answer.
No, she would answer. It's her phone. Gary didn't live there yet.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. They call the number from the message, and the dead person, Martha, answers, but they don't. Yeah. And then they have their little callback. They hang up because they think it's a prank. Then they call back and learn some weird stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like the kids need an external story that they have to act on as well.
Well, they're starting their podcast, right? Which is a romance mystery, which I think is fine.
Yeah.
You got C3 who's building computers and is trying to make his own video game, which is why he needs parts from the gift shop, the thrift shop. C4, I feel, could be a better character if they're older.
Okay.
Because they're not needed in this time frame for anything. They're intelligent kids. They have the internet. They don't need somebody who's a couple years older than them. Unless they're significantly older and can tell them things about whatever.
I have a late game suggestion.
Hit me with it.
I don't think this is a feature. I think this is a short.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because I'm seeing this moving pretty quick, and I'm not seeing us fill in a lot of gaps with stuff that I would expect a feature to have.
Okay.
Now, if we do this, I'm seeing like 20-minute, 30-minute, maybe.
Okay.
We could have a lot of... It could just be very dialogue heavy, about conversations about like the differences in eras, what it's like to grow up in different spans of time. It's like, I do podcasts. It's like, huh? You do what? It's like AM radio.
Like trucker talk?
Well, like CB radio? No, it's like do you have NPR in 91?
Google says Howard Stern. Do you know who Howard Stern is?
I don't. I know one word from that sentence. It's the.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm seeing this as a short.
Okay, that
I could see this being like a real, like a heartstring tugger.
All right, so let's say it's 30 minutes. So then, this all happens pretty quick. So this happens at 10-minute mark.
Yeah.
Then they get that back. A little bit of a montage. That's cool. So then this last 5 minutes, we got to figure out realization they can't change.
I say the realization is that, like, they're both dead. Like, Gary and Martha are both dead by the time they get this answering machine. You know what I mean? Like, they have that they're like, part of it can be them trying to hunt down Gary in the present, and then they realize because he wasn't rich or anything, he's also dead. Okay. And they're like, and then they call, and they give him, they're like, hey, you get hit by a car or something like that. And then they go to look at the headline, and it doesn't change. We just get the message that it's like, enjoy it while you can, because even if you know it's coming, doesn't mean you can avoid it.
Can't change it.
And then it ends on a high note because the kids are getting recognized. They're inspired by this and get recognized for it.
Cool. But I do like that she writes a book about this.
Sure. I like that too.
And then one of the girls writes the book. I think that's cool.
She recognizes the name is familiar to her. Martha
Johnson.
Rammstein.
It's like, that's a very obvious name, Martha Johnson. Like,
yeah.
Martha Johnson out there.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that this character is canceled.
I don't know we need him.
It's not needed yet.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, that's fine. What's next?
I think we need to just flesh out some order of stuff. I think we need some stuff in the middle. I think that there should be attempts to warn Martha of the future.
Yeah.
And I think that every time they call, it should be a longer time jump in the past than it is in the present. So, like, they call once a day, and every time they call back, it's like a few months further in the past.
Oh, cool.
Like, the first call they do is like January for Martha. And then the next day they'd make a second call, and it's like March for Martha.
Okay.
So that way it accelerates a little bit.
Yeah, like that.
And one time they call one day, and Gary picks up, and he goes, and he's obviously like distraught because it happened.
So on the phone, one day.
One day is either like a month or
30 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
And then one of the final calls, second to last call, is the call that confirms like Martha died. It's been 3. You've called me one. If you called us one day, if you say time is weird in your timeline, 1 day a month, and
Okay.
it's been 3 years for us.
How about this? The last phone call, second to last phone call is, wow, that's weird. And it looks like the next, so for the kids, it's going to be the next day. For her, it'll be 30 days. So it looks like the next time we call you is the day that you die.
Oh, okay.
Like, oh, weird. Cool.
It's the day the obituary is published, which is after she's already died.
So what's going to happen is, on the day she passes, the phone's ringing. It startles her. And as she's going to get the phone, she just like slips on something. And like, just, you know what I mean? Like, so they're the calls. That's what I was getting to.
No, I know. Do we want to lay that on them? Because they're kids.
They don't know that. She don't answer the phone.
Okay.
And they go, oh, I guess. Sure. And it was a mystery. They were trying to solve it. But what we know as the audience viewers is that they're the reason, technically, that this whole...
Sure.
The reason this whole woman's life exists. Wait. I guess that's a thing. That's kind of annoying now to think about it.
The whole what exists?
Well, okay, so if they reach out to her first when she's a little bit younger, and then they talk to her for 30 days, like for a week, right? That's whatever. So for that whole year of her life is only because the kids made that happen, which is an interesting story. It's almost fridging her to tell a story.
I suppose.
Almost.
Yeah. That's why I don't think this should be the cause of it.
I think every time you tell a time travel story, if it's cyclical, you wrap it up as cyclical as possible.
Okay.
That's sure. Yeah, and I think that works. They wouldn't be any worse off. They still have the same mystery. They still have the same experiences. Okay. They just don't know. So I think that's cool. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm
not opposed to it.
What'd you delete?
What? I didn't delete anything. I added another line.
Okay. Don't like this. Okay, what goes here? So after they find out what they're doing, then there's that time travel funny montage.
And I think they should have a B plot that the kids are dealing with. I think we need to have some sort of thing they're trying to do themselves before school starts or something.
What if their parents are having a hard time? And that's why they want Gary.
Oh yeah, they're getting advice from Gary and Martha about how to like.
Maybe. Okay, so if we want to work this character back in, right? Maybe these two girls are twins or they're sisters.
Yeah.
And this one is from a new marriage. So they're having a new person.
Okay.
Which is why they're trying to stick together and keep their thing going.
Yeah.
So they're dealing with like a new stepdad, a new stepbrother.
Yeah.
And that's going on. And maybe Nerdy Boy has an older brother. He goes, hey, the older brothers aren't that bad. I have two. They're cool.
Yeah.
They throw food at me all the time.
Yeah. Buy me. I was going to say buy me cigarettes. Oh my God.
What? I don't know. Some nobodies does not condone this.
No, we do not. I don't know why that was.
In 91 or 2020. Okay, what goes in this part?
So I was thinking, what do older people buy for kids?
Lottery tickets.
Beer.
Yeah, beer. Booze. So there's a little bit of like the funny money making montage. I think that's cool. Then there's like the serious bit.
I think partially what we should do is have a parallel that Martha and Gary are dealing with that the kids are kind of dealing with. So you can see how like, they're kind of moving in accord.
Yeah. Okay. So
I don't know what that would be.
Maybe they're getting married.
Yeah.
And like, so they're getting married at the same time that these two kids' parents are getting married.
Oh yeah.
So there's like the linkage of things. And maybe I don't want to give them kids because they're gonna pass.
And then they look in Martha's obituary and it says she'd never wed or something.
Ooh. Unwed. Yeah, that's not bad. It's sad, but it's definitely good.
But it's only we think it's sad because we think they break up. But the reality is that they were in love and they just couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Like alive.
Yeah, I like this.
It was not a failing on the part of either of their feelings for each other. It was just bad luck. Or in this case, the kid's fault for calling so often.
But I also like that they're going back to 91, which means there wasn't things uploaded to the internet as much. So they don't have a lot to work on except for actual history.
Yeah.
So that's cool. It's like, what happens in my town? Like, I don't know. I can't just Google it or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And they go, I can't Google everything.
Yeah.
What happens here though? What's this part? So there's a realization that they can't change. So something has to happen here where they try to change the future.
I figure they see the obituary. Excuse me, man. And they're doing attempts to change it, and
maybe they even try to change like small scale stuff.
Yeah,
like in their time.
Are they in the same town? Martha and Gary and the kids. Because I'm thinking if they want to change something, it's like, sure, go plant some trees outside this building.
Yeah.
And it's like, there were always trees outside. And it's like, it doesn't. C3 goes, it's like, they hang up and he goes, that's not. There's already trees out there. How do we know if they did it? Like,
go outside and cut a tree down. Let's see if it goes away. Like, that doesn't mean anything.
No, there wasn't a tree. There's not a tree there.
Yeah.
Now. So they either did it or there was never a tree there.
Yeah.
It's them dealing with the weirdness of this time travel communication.
Yeah, and then also making fun of every other contemporary movie. Because say C2 loves like time travel movies because of the book and because of everything else, and she's like, "Well, it's not going to work like Back to the Future, guys."
It's like, Gary, we just scratched our initials into that tree by the park, and they go, and there are initials in like really high up on, and they're like, that's their proof that it actually like.
Yeah.
Because they didn't tell Gary and Martha to do that; they did that of their own volition. So when they go there, they're like, "Oh, look, they at least know it happened."
Yeah. All right, that's cool. Yeah, I like that.
The middle is mostly them just kind of like exploring the concept of time travel and drawing inspiration from it for their personal work.
Yeah, that's cool. And then what happens here?
I feel like either they shouldn't call for a day or something. You know what I mean?
Okay.
There's always that part where they kind of separate ways for a little bit in the third act and come back together.
We're just trying to help you. Fine, we'll stop.
Yeah.
Because Martha's like, listen, guys, like, this is very stressful for me.
Yeah.
You're calling me like once a month,
and
it's really, and like, fine. We won't call tomorrow.
Yeah. And then something happens for them to call back, and then that's when they realize that it is past the point where she has died.
Yeah.
And that's the last call, I feel like. They talk to Gary, and he goes, we really enjoyed, no matter how weird this was, no matter how stressful it caused her, I know that she always really appreciated talking to someone from such a distant part in the future. Like, don't sweat the parents' stuff. If they treat you well, if they treat each other well, that's probably the best you can hope for. And Gary gives him some real heartfelt advice, and is like, I know that she appreciated speaking to you because she wanted kids, and so we have that little like tearjerker moment towards the end. And he goes, for my own sake, I would really appreciate if you just, I'll look you up, and because Gary, they don't know that. I feel like Gary doesn't know that he's going to die yet. He goes, I'll look you up when I get there.
Yeah.
And they're just like, all right, Gary.
But you didn't.
We'll talk to you then.
Yeah.
No, they just go, we'll talk to you then, and hang up without telling them. They're like, they're not going to give him that.
And then one of them does the obvious thing, was like, but he would have already, and they go, we know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. All right. I like that. Yeah, that works out.
I got a little goosebumpy on that.
Yeah, that's cute. Do you want to throw some names in these characters?
Yeah. I'm seeing C1 as kind of not tomboyish, but very assertive.
Sure. Are we pulling from pop culture?
We can. Do you have anything in mind?
Well, strong tomboy. Obviously, I'm thinking Arya. Making me angry, though. So
it's modern day.
Yeah.
I was thinking Charlie.
Love it. C2.
Charlie's best friend.
Or sister, maybe. Maybe twin. I don't know.
Look at that. It could be.
They're close. And if we do like the parents getting married thing, then either they're two parents getting married or they're already siblings and they're marrying someone else. So let's say Charlie and what? Lucy?
Lucy?
Yeah.
Sure.
Nerd boy, C3.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say Dylan, but
I know. No. We already have a different fictional Dylan in a different series.
How about like a Talon? Or
something a little out of the ordinary.
Yeah, a little bit cooler, but he's
archaic.
Like a tough name. Or archaic.
Deckard.
Anakin. Deckard, sure. Oh, Deckard Voss? Who's that?
Blade Runner.
Oh, yeah.
Deckard and Diablo. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I like that. And then Martha Gary.
I think we have
classic 90s names.
Well, I think C4 can be like a step sibling. We know that they're there, but they don't have a role in it.
Yeah, their name is Steve.
Steve?
Yeah.
All right.
Nobody likes Steve.
Steve's fine.
Steve you like except for Martin. You don't know him.
Pastor growing up with Steve, and he was a good man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
You didn't know him.
But you talk about him all the time off camera.
I mention him.
I'm surprised you actually brought him up on camera now. Okay. What else are you going to work on here? If there was a scene, what would the scene be that you're probably?
I like
trailer scene.
I like the first act.
Yep.
Into the revelation that they're calling into the past. So there's probably some specific line where they realize that it is a time phone.
Yeah. A line.
Like a spoken line.
Like a sentence that.
Like someone says something. Like, I think the exchange goes, well, I mean, is this Martha? I guess so. How'd you get this number? Well, I have your answering machine.
Is this a Jerky Boys?
Well, no, we looked you up online and your obituary was on. You looked me up on what? Online.
Whose line?
What line? The internet. The net?
Kid.
Listen, I don't know what this is, if you're going to prank call people, try not doing it in 1991 where I'm living right now. I'm just thinking about all those really obvious...
You don't just call the average 1991 a homeowner talking this garbage about the internet.
Oh, man.
I think it's cool.
No, I don't know. I think this should be a really fun 20 minutes.
Yeah, that first scene would be pretty good.
I could see this being a real kind of like, not tearjerker, but people, see people want to root for these guys.
Yeah. The only scene that I'm missing for some reason is that like adventurous chase scene or the rapid, we got to get to somewhere because of something.
Step sibling found the phone and is taking it back to the thrift store or something. Like they're cleaning up old stuff or something.
Well, I was thinking something. I mean, I like that, but I was thinking maybe more jerky or technical. Like, say for some reason, he finds where the phone plugs into, and he puts gum in that outlet. So they have to run around with this phone. Trying to plug it into things, or something.
I like the idea of them running around with a landline, trying to find a place. They're knocking next door. Yeah. Can I plug this into your kitchen? I need to make a phone call. And he's just like, "Do you want to use my phone? I have to use this one.
I got my own phone."
And then at some point they let him plug it in for the last call, and the person is just like, "Man, kids are really getting into the old tech nowadays." All right,
God, these hipsters are getting younger.
Getting younger and younger every day.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, actually,
I think
that's our time.
That's it.
Do you want to wrap us up this time?
So, hey, you've been watching Talking Upstream. My name is Dylan. This is Zach.
Yeah, Zach.
This is our whiteboard. And we are Some Nobodies. You can find us at somenobodies.com. You just watched us develop a modern-day discovered phone message into time phone.
Time phone.
Working title.
Good name.
Working title.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We don't have to find out. We don't have to do everything on the air. We'll save some surprises for these guys.
Improv does not always work.
No. Anyway, we appreciate you checking in here. Again, we are Some Nobodies. You can find all of our stuff at our website, somenobodies.com. If you want to help support us in our endeavors, make things potentially like this in the future, you go to patreon.com/somenobodies, like these following people did.
Tanya Sheck, Sarah Tkachuk, Scott Curtis, and listener app. Podcasting listening thing. If you go to your podcast app, type in listener app, or go to Instagram at the greatest podcast app. Those guys are awesome. They have a bunch of podcasts on there. What they do is they transcribe it. So if you like to hear my voice or at least read what I say instead of hearing what I'm saying, go to listener app. You can check that out. But thank you, man. I appreciate it. Another cool story.
Too. Yeah.
And most importantly, we got to thank our friend Lala Luzious. So please go anywhere, check her out.
Snacksize, thepodcast.com.
Snacksize. Check it out. It's amazing. It's better than what we do.
Yeah.
Almost every one of our guests.
It has a message. It's heartfelt. It's intuitive.
It's great.
Informative. Yeah, it's good.
And it's short.
Yeah.
Unlike anything we do.
Yeah.
But until next week, thank you guys very much. Thank you to International Broadcast. media, television.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get
Yes.
it. I'm gonna get
That's
it.
fine.
Yes, and thank you to Wynn, our director. He does a great job, puts up with us, and to Jared Gleason, who makes the cool music you hear for some nobodies.
Mm-hmm. That's all we got this week, guys.
Bye.
See you next time.